Welcome in. All right. I'm so excited to be with you today. I've been working really hard at gathering this information, and I'm going to help you get your mindset so you can stay focused today, and we'll talk a bit about that. But welcome. I got you here. We're going to talk about strategies and how to lose 10 pounds within this month. I do have some clients that struggle with losing weight, and I'm going to go into that deeper today and how you're going to declog. And we're going to focus in on what's happening for you right now and how you're going to apply the tools. So, welcome into how to lose 10 pounds this month, even if you failed in the past. So, let's get rocking here. We have so much information. Welcome to the call. I want to make sure that you have your book that you downloaded. And if you did not download that book, get tons of paper because I'm going to give you tons of tips and tricks and strategies, and you're not going to be remembering this stuff because there's so much information and not too much. I was going back and forth on, how much information do I want to give you today? But what it is that I'm going to bring you into a process that you can connect with, understand, and then I'll give you strategies. And I'll tell you when those strategies start happening so you're ready to write even more. But you're going to learn so much about your body. And as a health coach, that's what I really want for you is that when you're here on the Tuesday calls that you're learning about yourself and you're not learning about what's the latest fruit or what's the latest vegetable to eat, but learning about what's happening for yourself right now, how you can make those steps forward based on the information I'm going to guide you with. And so I have strategies for you today that's going to be new. So what I want you to do is get away from that butterfly effect, which is, there's little dings here and there with having other windows open. So I want you to turn off everything that's operating, unless you need it for work, of course, if you need to have a buzz here and there, but 100% here. Because if you miss just a little bit, you're not going to get the full results and the full mindset in how I'm going to coach you, because we only have 60 minutes and it's going to go fast because there's so much entertaining and movement going on that you are going to get a lot of good stuff and get results so you can start right away. I'll get your mindset so you can focus. So let's get ready to get into action. I want to share some stats with you, and it's going to be all around sugar, and we're going to discuss what sugar is. So it's not just in your drinks, but it's in your foods that you don't even know. So let's talk about hidden sugar too. So the first step, people are consuming, and it used to be 60, but it's 80 pounds of added sugar per year. And I couldn't imagine this in my mind when I started looking at these stats, and I started talking, to my kids about different things. And I was talking to my daughter, and she was saying that she was 74 pounds. And I started thinking about this stat. People are consuming 80 pounds of added sugar per year. So I was looking at like how tall she was and the weight that we carry. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can see that because of all the stuff that's happening these days. So the average person consumes 80 grams of sugar per day. And so what that translates to is over 400 calories a day. And so the first thing is I'm not going to just take away all the sugar that you're doing, but I'm going to give you strategies. And this is going to play into things that I'm going to tell you later on that I don't want you to give up. And when I tell you I don't want you to give up a specific thing, it's going to be very surprising. So I want you to be there. So make sure you make it to the end of this video because to this session, because we're going to dig deep in how are we going to get these strategies to work for us and stop craving sugar. And even if you don't think you're craving sugar, let's talk about what sugar is. But if you stopped consuming 400 calories a day, that'd be pretty simple, huh? How we'd be able to really rid ourselves of 10 pounds of belly fat. And we can even go past that, even 20 pounds of belly fat if you're into it. Because believe me, if you get connected today, you're going to start feeling your energetic body and being able to see how your body has energy and when it doesn't have energy and what you're eating and how you're slowing your organs down based on your thoughts, based on the food that you're eating. And so it becomes really connected with what is happening for you today. So the biggest thing I wanted to share with you is this stat. I found it really interesting over 6 years. It's a thing that was just recently released. So it's set up to 2016. So they do something where there's an estimate here also, but they're estimating that almost 20 tons of sugar is being produced in just a 6 year increase, 6 year time span. So almost 20 tons of additional sugar is being produced to support our sugar habit. It would only be produced if it was being consumed. So the consumption has gone up that much. And so when you start looking at, let's talk about what sugar is, so you get the whole picture of what this is, because this whole talk is not just about sugar. Even though you came in, it says stop sugar, start energy. And when you start realizing the sugar that is around, that you are going to start seeing things in a different way. So when you start looking at, I don't want you to think about your fruits and vegetables. Let's set that aside. But any of the drinks that you're having, from juice, because juice is always extra sugar. Anything you're putting in your mixed drinks, let's say that you are doing some type of juicing, or you're doing some type of blended drink, and sometimes you put so much fruit in there that it highly increases the sugar intake. And even though I don't want you to specifically look at your fruits and vegetables and see them as evil, but I want you to think about this. We want to start changing your taste buds. And the more that you start going more towards the vegetables in your mixed drinks, the quicker you're going to lose weight, because the fruitier and the sweeter, the more it's going to escalate your sugar, and the more your insulin has to work, the more overall your body has to work, and you can become insulin resistant. So if you get a high off of eating sugar and all of a sudden it just stops, or it doesn't even affect you at all, that's like insulin resistance. And that's where other things come in, which is, fatty liver. We're going to go through that list. So I want to make sure that you got your book, How to Lose 10 Pounds, even if you failed in the past, because I'm going to ask you some questions. And the reason why we come together on Tuesdays, I think this is it. And I may be wrong, so you can go into the chat box and tell me I'm totally wrong. But we're concerned about fatty liver. We're concerned about, cardiovascular disease. Heart disease runs in my family. That might be the reason why I am doing what I'm doing. And also the next one is being insulin resistant. I lost my dad with diabetes, and it was very, very rough on his body. He actually had a heart attack. So I already have number 2 and 3 of why I'm here. So what's the fear that you have? I hear so much about cancer. Every time I have a new client come in and we start discussing, like, what's their biggest fear? Usually, I would say 40s and older. That's when people usually start talking about this, that I'm talking to. The biggest thing is cancer, because we don't understand cancer a lot. But the more that you clean your body and the more that you keep yourself focused, and we're going to speak about this again, but more from getting it away from our bodies being acidic to increasing the health and the nourishment that we do in our body to alkaline. So thread it through this whole discussion today. I'm not going to talk much about your body being acidic and your body being an alkaline, but just know that that's the theme of why we're so in fear of cancer, because the more that you know how to nourish your body and the more you know how to test to see if your body's really on the healthy side, it's not about losing weight, because the weight is the byproduct. If you're losing weight and you're still in that area where your cells are not very healthy, where they're being challenged a bit every day because your body's off, which would be in the acidic area, the more that you can start learning these strategies, it's mental, it's food, it's everything that you intake into your body, that your body is going to stay until that alkaline area. And the alkaline area means that your body is flowing, your energy is going, and your organs within your body are moving the way they need to. There's a big difference. Once you start feeling that and understanding that, this fear of cancer goes away. I think every one of us have known somebody that's passed away from cancer. It's the scariest thing. And the biggest thing that we hear is, well, why'd that person pass away? Because they were so healthy. So let's go into that deeper conversation today. And think about that as you're learning. Is that one of your motivators today? Also, the sugar dopamine effect, the addiction that happens with sugar, that could be why you're here. And fear of obesity. You know, it's not just a social thing where we want to be as skinny as we can be or slender as we can be. Because as we think about it, it's not always about our weight, but the obesity factor of, you know, thinking about the challenge that we have when we start getting extra body fat. And obesity means that your body fat percentage is about 33% and over. Then, and then there's that fear, you know, that fear that we're going to have extra body fat that's not going to make us very healthy. So here's my 6 fears that I think. So if you have any others, please add it to the list here. I'm going to, let's see, let me come over here. All right, so I'm going to spend a quote, share a quote with you here. And I shared this last week, but I want to go in and talk. It's not just about what Tony Robbins said. It's really about how we feel about ourselves, not about everyone else. But he says, no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow your progress, you're still way ahead of everyone else who isn't trying. But instead of feeling that competitiveness, because I know that we naturally do this. I have people telling me they're jealous of other people because they're getting different results than them. So we're always competing against each other if we know it or not. But the biggest thing is competing with yourself and actualizing things. So as you start making progress, anything from 1 pound to a thumb not aching anymore, to, you know, not having an ingrowing toenail because your liver's so overly toxic, you know, with a fatty liver. So many things that you start feeling like I've done something better for myself. And we always feel like a failure because we haven't gotten to this big results that we are expecting. So today it's about stepping in slowly at a time. And I'll tell you, because that's going to be part of my story today of why I always thought that I was a failure. Think about this for yourself also. Okay, so I got you here. We're going to talk about high converting energy food. It's going to be specific to what you're already doing. We're going to talk about your energy level. We're going to talk about how your plate should look, and we're going to build that. So we're going to talk about the pre-weight planning formula. So we fail quite a bit because we don't think of the planning. We think of like, what's our goal? Okay, ready, set, go. But today we're going to be doing some pre-planning here because before you leave, you want to get your mindset. Also, I'm going to talk about the 5-point weight loss preparedness. Let's get you prepared and let's get your calendar out and let's talk about action. Also, we're going to talk about the ultra specific mental clearing formula. I'm going to give you a formula that's going to help you through the day, that mentally you're going to be able to keep yourself energetically moving through the day. Also, I want you to learn about your ultra plate plan formula. Now, this formula is going to be your personal formula. I'm not going to tell you exact, but I'm going to guide you with the foods that you're comfortable right now, and I'm going to give you a top 10 foods that are going to bring you into alkaline. And from that list, you're going to learn so much about how to build your plate because you're going to have some knowledge and some energy specifically so that you can build your personal plate, and it has nothing to do except just me coaching you and me guiding and giving you information as a health coach. So are you ready? Let's take a deep breath and open up the arms and just stretch. Now let that clear your mind. Get that focused in within your eyes, in between your eyes. I want your third eye open if you understand that holistically, that I want you in tune. Think about not closing yourself off. You have 60 minutes with me here. If you could just keep yourself open and think about how fantastic you're going to be feeling as you stick with me 100% here. You're going to take another big inhale, kind of shake it out, rotate the hands around the wrists, and then just sit there for a moment in a meditative exhale, which is just a long, strong exhale. Now, if you downloaded your workbook, you've already seen these questions. If not, just be active. Let's get a pen and piece of paper, or let's work within the workbook. Now, I asked you these questions today because the more that you connect with what's happening for yourself, the more it's like a journaling. So it's going to be one of the steps today I'm going to talk about. Because with the pre-planning and getting yourself in your mindset, we need to have motivation to do something that may be new today. So when you start, so that was almost like journaling before you came in. Or We're going to do it together right now. But the more that you can listen to yourself and where your mind is going, the less you're going to say, I don't know. And the more you're going to learn to listen to yourself. So hi, my name is Rhonda Liebig. I'm a holistic health coach, and I've been doing this for over 15 years in the health industry. And I've learned to go deeper and deeper within this holistic area. Now, if you would have met me 5 years ago, I wouldn't have really pretty much given you much of a hug, maybe even stand close to you. I was more shy, but I also just didn't get that holistic vibe that if I was rude or standoffish from somebody, that they could feel that. I was so disconnected with just this yin and yang that we have with everybody. And so this is my journey, and I'm going to wrap it in with the questions that you've answered. And if you haven't answered your questions yet, answer along with me, and I'm going to guide you into what's happened for me. And I'm going to be kind of the success story in this section here. Later on, I'm going to share another success story with you. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your diet? 1 meaning that you're not really, that you're not being very successful, and that you're failing at this eliminating sugar in your diet, to the 10, which is that you're doing fantastic and that you are not eating sugar at all. You've been able to cleanse yourself from that. So sugar is your packaged foods, stuff that doesn't have much fiber. It's going to be straight sugar from drinks, and I've already talked about the blended drinks. It's going to be hidden sugars that when you flip over a box and it says, 15 grams of sugar, it's that stuff. And when you're failing and you feel like you're failing, I can give you how much sugar you should be having for the day. But what I have to ask you is, when you're eating sugar, does it give you a really big high and then you drop real quick? If you're eating food, do you really feel high energy, or for some reason within that 1 hour, 2 hours, you're down in the dumps? And that's how you connect with, the sugar and what's going on. So let's answer that. For me, I was at a scale of 1 of success. And when I originally started looking at my life and sugar, because if I'm not in alignment, whatever I'm saying now can happen anytime now. If I'm having a really, really bad day, I can go back to this number 1 scale and stop using all the tools I'm going to share with you. And what was happening for me is that I felt exhausted a lot. I didn't realize that a lot of the stuff that I was eating was affecting my body. And so I went towards sugar to even try and add more and more energy. And sometimes it would work. Sometimes I'd have tons of sugar and I'd feel happy and excited and feel great. And then, so that was like perfect, because that's why I was eating sugar. It was like a drug to help keep me going. And so as time went on and I started more and deeper into my career as a CPA, that's where I came from, then I found myself gaining weight, and I started getting a pain in my top left temple, and like shooting pain that was like, medically there was something that was starting to happen. And my body just started bloating. And I already knew I had thyroid stuff, but I was taking my thyroid medicine. So, I can eat however I want. And I think that that's where we get lost, is that if we're taking medicine, we think the medicine, has us, that we're going to be fine. But the medicine is there just as a little crippling thing, because we usually have to increase our medicine more and more if we don't connect with this holistically. And that's where I was. So my question for you today is, where are you on your scale? What is happening for you? So from there, I basically was stuck, just stuck in that arena of not knowing my body and not questioning, what was going on, which is normal. So the next question was, do you have the confidence that you can get results just like this? And we're coming directly from the book here. Now, this person karate chopping, because the karate chopping is that, you're like, oh, hi, yeah, get myself, totally clear and feeling confident. And sometimes we have to break through those sabotages. But the question is, do you have the confidence that you can get results just like others? So as I was going through and bloating and not feeling good, I started not feeling good about myself even more emotionally. Before, I was already insecure and not feeling very good. But as I started gaining weight and not being able to understand, what what was happening for myself. I started looking at others and in my career feeling like, feeling insecure about my career and where I was as a CPA, feeling insecure about the person I was. I didn't feel like I was a really good person. I guess I had quite a few negative mindsets about myself. And I lost confidence in myself. Whenever I'd be in a group, I didn't really want to hang out because I could not get away from how I felt about myself. And I just didn't feel very good. My confidence was low and it was stopping me from my personal and also business success. I look back, now I understand my business is growing and everything is going great and fantastic. But when I was stuck in my story, when I was doing CPA stuff, I could have moved in a smoother, nicer, elegant way. But my issue was that I was so insecure that I was telling my managers that I needed to be promoted because I was smart in the area that I was working, but you also have people that want to work with you. And if you are struggling with these personal issues and insecurities that I was, I want to ask you, writing down your notes, is there something that you feel that you're personally stopping yourself, you're not confident? And so I did. I became a county manager and I kept moving along, but not everybody wanted to work with me. And I think it was just the industry itself because there were quite a few people that were like me. We were extremely competitive with each other. But I know systemically now that if I was in that situation or if I could coach somebody that was in the CPA world or business world, corporate world, small business, that they would have a different mindset. And so I have a few clients that run businesses and I've been able to help them with their mindset. Most of the people that I work with are parents that are, that are struggling and trying to get through their day, and I'm able to help them in that area. And the people that are owning their business and they are trying to, move their business forward, I've seen big success. So if you ever go to my website, rhondaliebig.com, you'll see success stories in there, people saying that they have been able to grow their business based on the coaching that they got from me. So this is all personal and this is all business oriented. So everything you're going to learn here today, it all connects. It all connects with our story. And then I was able to change based on taking little steps. Little steps I'm going to teach you today. And what you're ready for, you're going to take and you're going to move forward today. And I was also stuck in my story. So everything bad always happened to me. And that was my story. And that was where I didn't have the confidence because I knew I couldn't lose the last 10 pounds. I knew that, something bad happened, that always happens to me. And so that mindset where I was very focused in, that would expand in anything that we do. And I never saw the good stuff. And I had friends that sometimes would say, you have so many good things going on. Oh my gosh, that's so not true, that, everything bad happens to you. And I couldn't see that because I was so mad at myself because I always blame myself for things not going well. So this is the sabotage I'm focused on today, is where are you at in your story and how are we going to break through that? How are we going to break through that? Now, just asking the question is not going to answer it for us, but what it does, it puts a seed in our head just to think about, like, what's our next step? Next time that we're thinking that, what's our next step that we can actually get action oriented and see how we can take a step back, look around in real life and what's been happening, maybe journaling, even something like this to see all the good stuff that's been going on instead of focus on the negative always helps. And I find that the first 5 minutes that I talk to my clients, the first stuff that we talk about, extremely negative stuff, because that's our story and we're seeing that things aren't working out and all this stuff. And then after we get past the first 5 minutes, it's usually about 5 minutes, then all of a sudden, well, I have been doing this. Well, I have been doing that. And so once you get past that story, which journaling helps to kind of get that out, you start seeing the good stuff that's happening. So how are we going to break through this? It's my question for you, and it's not something we're going to clear up today, but I want to put that seed in your head and think about that. So what do you know already about yourself holistically? What's happening for you? Do you know if you have concerns with gluten? Are you having problems with massive sugar issues? And I bring these two together. Anytime your body is dealing with something where it's massively not feeling good, we usually tend to have extreme sugar cravings. So our whole theme, even though we're not talking about it a lot today, is based on sugar. You may have deeper things going on though, low energy from other things. You may already know that you can't have certain types of food, but sometimes you eat them because you're having a struggle away from that. And then it brings you into not feeling good about yourself. And so when you're not feeling good about yourself, where does that take you? So how much do you know about yourself right now and your triggers? And the more that you know, I want you to put that in your tool belt today, because we're going to put that in and we're going to let that work for us. We're not going to take it and let it beat us down and make us feel bad about ourselves, but we're going to get into action. We all have issues. We all have things we need to work on, and who gives a rat's behind that we have these issues, because we just need to figure out how to put them in the tool belt so that we can flip it around to something positive. And so that's why we build our confidence. I don't mind that we feel like maybe sometimes we're bitchy towards other people, or sometimes we don't feel good about something, because we can always take a step back, flip it around, and rework our relationships. So how much do you know about yourself? Let's put that in the tool belt. Keep that in the front of what we're going to be doing here. So let's start listening to ourselves, because let's start building. I know that I was confused and I was getting bloated and hazy in the head, and what I've come up with and what I know at this point in my journey is that my body has extreme amount of food allergy issues. My dad always had tons of allergies, and I always thought I did not have any allergies. But what happened was it wasn't coming out of my nose, not the kind of stuff where you can see seasonal allergies, because I had it deeper inside and I just didn't even know. And so I found out that gluten is one of my biggest issues right now. And I don't know for sure if that's the final, because as I clear that up, then I'll learn more. And so I'm on my personal journey, but with these tools, I'm helping guide you through your personal journey. And we all have our struggles, and we're all on the same page here. We're just moving forward. So what's your stuff that you feel confused about? Definitely write that down, because it's going to be part of your stuff. So this is your knowledge hour. We're ready to go. I'm going to give you a refresh look and opportunity. And it's going to take a mind shift, because every time you come here each week, we have new stuff to share, and we have new stuff that we unravel. So what would you do to get results and breakthrough, to energetically open up your body? I ask this question every week, and I want you to think about this deeply. What would you do? Are you ready to take the action steps? So where do we start? Welcome in. Let's get into action. Okay, so let's get into it. So we have many things that we're going to go into. And so this is where the energy is. I want you to take a cup of water. I want you to shake everything out. And then we're going to go into stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. We're going to go through these 3 sections. We're going to build this. And I'm going to give you another thing where I'm going to give you even a deeper way you can get into this. I'm going to show you how I can help you, and we're going to talk deeper about that later on. Okay, so learn how to see yourself holistically. First thing in the stage 1 is how to choose a high converting energy food. So that's your first section, how to choose a high converting energy food. So let's get into, where is your lowest part of energy of the day? I asked two new clients last week, and they were discussing, someone was having problems in the morning, and someone was having problems at like the 3 p.m. slump that we talk about quite a bit. So where is that energy that you're having issues with? Let me give you a tip here. If you're having issues in the morning getting up, is that your hormones have to be in alignment to help you get yourself up. And if your liver is struggling quite a bit, it goes deeper than this discussion that we're going to go in today. But if your liver is not balanced and it's ready to be detoxed, and right now it's just kind of overburdened, it's not going to release the enzymes and the hormones that it needs to balance everything. So then you just pop up and ready to go. So if you have that problem in the morning, I want you to step back into your dinner that you had the night before, because your detox happens throughout the night, and if your body's not detoxing well, then your liver's going to have that issue. Remember taking basic steps. Because we could talk about all 3 meals, but I'm going to get you into one meal that I want you to change. If it's your afternoon slump, let's look at your lunch. If you're not having lunch, then let's talk about that. And that's where you're going to be we're going to talk about your plate and what it should look like. If you have lunch but not breakfast, I'm going straight to your breakfast and saying, we need to do breakfast. So let's use the strategies. First off, in your first step, I want you to write down what food you would accept right now. Now, these are the foods, the top 10 foods to balance the body into alkaline. Some of them are real easy. We have papaya, which is really, really sweet. It has a lot of good fiber there, wholesome fiber, asparagus, spinach, artichoke, Brussels sprouts, cucumber, carrots, broccoli, and the list goes on. A lot of high vitamin C, which is nurturing your cells, and it's going to make your skin look beautiful. Spinach is your fibrous, your green, and greens are just clean through your body, just cleans it out. Spinach is like an insoluble fiber, so it's going to scrub and really help the digestion. Where papaya, the insides are more of a soluble. Actually, did I say spinach is a insoluble fiber, so it's more rough. And then papaya has a soluble fiber, so it's going to soak up cholesterol, which our body naturally produces too, but it's going to help balance that cholesterol that we're eating. Pick one food from here, and let's move on because I'm going to help you build your plate. Okay, so we're going to the Ultra Plate Plan formula. Let's start building here. Now I'm going to give you specific guidance, but you're going to use one of these foods to help add into your food on your plate for the area of the day that when you are feeling the lowest. So again, if you're feeling your energy is feeling low in the afternoon, let's go straight to your lunch. If you don't eat breakfast at all, I want you to add one of these for your breakfast, because there's no way that you can go with your day with not having any breakfast and expect to have energy. If your energy is extremely low and you have a hard time getting up, I want to go right to that dinner. So you hear those 3 strategies? That's why you have to be 100% focused today. All right, so let's think about your first above results that we just discussed. What's the one that you're going to implement? And let's get into problem solving. And let's don't talk about goals, because goals are something we put on a piece of paper and then we say we're going to do it and then hopefully we get to it. But I want you to think about problem solving and not goals. Let's solve some problems here. Let's get our energy up. Okay, on your plate, I want you to have something sweet that's wholesome and sweet. And I just pulled up the grapefruit because it's beautiful, the color and everything. It's always fun to have color on your plate. And look at this. We're going to build a big plate. When you start eating like this, you want to eat a lot of food. So you have your seeds for protein, or you have your meat. Your meat should be no bigger than your palm of, your hand, within your hand. You're going to have your grain on the right side, and that's going to be about half a cup. And the whole plan comes together, and you see tons and tons of vegetables that you're being nourished with. And all the colors. Now, in this area, above with the fruit or below with the vegetable, I want you to, whatever your plate already looks like, I want you to add what was on one of, on the top 10 list. You're going to add it to the vegetable area, or you're going to add the one fruit up at the top. If vegetables don't seem right for you in the morning, I want you to go just straight to your lunch, because we're not going to do anything massive change, but I just want you to take a step back and see what you're ready for so that you do the right thing for yourself. No matter what, remember, incrementally as you add new stuff. All right, so what do I not want you to give up? So now this is crazy. So what I don't want you to give up is something that you consistently do every day that you emotionally are connected with. So if you have coffee every day, I don't want you to give that up. If you have a glass of wine every day, I don't want you to give that up. We're starting your plan right here. If we went in and just pulled everything away, then decide we're going to be perfect and extreme and do this plan, it's going to hurt everything that we're working for. To lose 10 pounds a day means hold everything that you're doing right now and make this shift that you need to make. More balance to it, so then your body can release the extra body weight and also usually it's more water tension. So I don't want you to give up your glass of wine or give up your coffee or give up your mocha. I want you to stay with that consistently because maybe you have a morning routine or an afternoon routine. But everything else, start cleaning and working with these new techniques. So you got me? So don't give up something that you're totally, extremely focused on that you cannot give up. So this could be your biggest failure if you don't listen. So this is important because remember, if I put you on a diet, diets don't work because diets are that we do something right now and then we don't have to do something ever again. But you know that's not true because I'm saying I'm on this part of the journey also and doing this for years and years. You're just consistently working on things. You're consistently relinquishing things that have held you back, and you just keep opening yourself up more and more. And so you don't want to give everything up because if you did, there's reasons why we do certain things. We're still stuck in certain stories. So we need to slowly chip away. So let's go into the ultra specific mental clearing plan. So see how we're going into this next stage. We talked about your plate. Now let's get your mindset. So roll your shoulders back, sit up nice and tall. All right. So the mental clearing plan is, yes, you need a mental plan. First thing is breathe. Now I want you to set a timer. So this is where we are going into some more strict areas here. I want you to set a timer for 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. You know why? Because these are the times where we start getting our lulls a little bit. So 10 a.m., take a breather. Take a step back. Give yourself 3 breaths or more. Go for a walk, whatever your breather is. So I want you to breathe. Set a timer for 10 a.m. Tell yourself, it's stop and breathe. And this is serious because just this in itself, even when you're working out, try and work out and not breathe and relax. And then allow that extra oxygen to go to your body while you're working out. You can get a headache. You can have just lethargic feeling. So think about when you're working and you're work out. If you're working out in the yard or if you're working for business stuff and you don't take time to breathe, that we breathe shallow and it affects our energy. So right now, I want you to put a note to set your timer for 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. You can even do one in the evening. If before walking into your house stresses you out, take a breather, put another timer on there. But we need a timer because we can say we're going to remember this stuff, but no, we won't because we have too many things going on. But we need to get this to be a habit, especially for the first week because I'll be talking to you next Tuesday. We're working on this month and we're going to get this plan kicked in high gear. So let's go into the implementation stage. We've gone through all of these facts and ways and strategies that we're going to go, but I want to give you the 5-point weight loss preparedness checklist. And I want you to be actively working with your calendar. So in the stage 2, I talked about your breathing and adding into your calendar. Open up your calendar. And if you don't want to touch your phone because it's going to take you off somewhere else, write your note that you're going to be adding this stuff to your calendar. And a reminder layout. Your reminder would be setting a timer. Your reminder would be that if you feel like instead of going and just breathing and taking that space, maybe you have another thing to remind you. Is it that you're going to change your pants into more casual stuff? Is it that you're going to put a sticky note on your monitor, but you have to have something that is going to cue you or you're going to remind you, and you can even have a plaque that says something special to it. Also, no falling into sabotages. So don't question yourself if you can do it or you can't do it. Because that's what's going to stop you right now is that you believe that you can't get into that next stage. And so I want you to go into that no-fail plan and know that the steps that you have here that I've implemented and done big strategies. That the client that I'm going to show you in just a little bit, we're almost there, that they did big strategies and they're consistently moving forward. Also, don't get lost in your plate. Use the plate strategies. Now, these are all strategies that you need to work with consistently. So if you don't, this is where we get lost and we forget what we're going to be doing in action. Also, today we're journaling, we're writing to ourselves, and these are your 5 points that need to be addressed each and every day. and making sure you're actively involved. And after a while, it's not anything new. It's just part of your life. Also, the celebration. Okay, so this call, we're going to end in about 20 minutes. And the celebration, we have to put a seed in here right now. That if you forget to celebrate a 1-pound loss, celebrate that you've made good on the strategies that I'm teaching you, that if you don't celebrate, then you're not going to take that step back and really appreciate where you are. You're just going to look at your body and say, oh, I don't like the way I look, or you're going to miss all the wonderful stuff that's happening for you. So it's baby steps. It's not going to happen overnight. And it is hard work. And that's why we're stuck in wherever we're at. I was listening to an interview with Hugh Jackman. He plays Wolverine. He's done some great movies. And we all know he has a great body. And the biggest thing he was saying is that he's worked very, very hard for his body because of all the roles he plays. And it puts him in a situation where he's always in the gym. So it's not that he's doing this on his own and wanting to look a certain way, but we want to look really good. So we're doing it because we want strategies to get us feeling healthy. But the biggest thing that he said is that's a painful process. And it is, because we have to break through the negative stuff that holds us back. We need to break through the foods that we just love, that we believe we love right now. My dad was known as the Cookie Monster on his handle when the CBs were around. So what's my biggest go-to? If I have cookies in my house, my brain will not stop until I go to them. So do you have anything like that? Well, put that in your toolbox or your tool belt and let that be strength, because you know this about yourself. So any steps that you move forward, give yourself time to celebrate and dance. And this is where you're going to get your biggest results. So that's a step for you. And that's an implementation step. And if I hear next Tuesday that you did not celebrate, we have some talking to do. So make sure you write that down. I want to have it in big, big letters. But while you're also trying to clean up everything, I want you to look at the swap here. You're going to see sugars in the white rice because it doesn't have fiber, and all the beautiful outside has been taken off. That goes right in as insulin has to help you absorb the sugars. Then you have your candy, and you just have your straight sugar that you may be adding in with your coffee, adding in with your drinks or whatever. But see the straight swap there? And there you go. Basic, easy swap. So I want you to really think about the stuff we talked about and the healing powers that have been laying dormant. So if you have extra weight on you, you're ready to lose the 10 pounds, all that, we want to take it out, excrete it out of the body through making sure that we increase our bowel movements, make sure that we increase our circulation and energy, and that our lymph node system, under our arms to around our neck to in between our legs, that we really work on cleansing the system, getting everything out by doing all good stuff. I want you to restore balance on all levels of the body and spirit. And I call this a mirror thing, and I do this every single week because I want you to be looking at your skin with new moles popping up and new things happening, because holistically, you're starting to connect with how deep of a connection and how much power you have over your aging process. So you've come to the right place, because nothing that I've shared with you today is theory. And I've used every single one of these as discussed with you. And my clients are using these strategies too. So one thing that I want you to take with you today is that I am not extra special. With all these strategies that I've done, maybe when I was younger, this is what brought me into this type of business, is I was always concerned about, why people were getting sick. And I always thought about that. And there's this things deeply of why I'm here. But so maybe that gives me a little bit of an edge, but that's why I'm here to coach and guide you. You want somebody that is crazy like me, that thinks about this stuff. So I don't have access to exclusive resource tools, but remember, I've been in the industry for over 15 years. I showed you my strategies that are signature strategies. I gave you 5 specific things and approaches and titles to what your approaches are, so that you can have a theme going in your head. Like, yes, I need this 5-point system. I need to get all this in my strategies just like what I'm sharing with you today, and implementing them. So you can work on this and you can have this too. So I want you to ask this: how do I get the results now that I've tried in the past to do? The biggest thing is I want you to get away from the complicated side and the confusing side, because there's a lot of information out there. We are Google society. We're information society, but all that information does not get us where we need to. People will tell me, oh, what's happening with omega-3? I should not be doing that because there's this latest research. And it's like, well, let's see who did the research and let's start discussing what that is. Or I shouldn't be having animal protein because this, and this. Well, let's take a step back and let's talk about that. Animal protein is incredibly good, but if there's something in your family that just runs in the types of foods that you've been raised with to having high cholesterol, maybe that's a different story. So there's never a blanket answer, and that's where we get confused. I want to make it simple and structured as we did today. So here's how I can help you. Now, this is where we're transitioning, and I want you to focus in on where you want to go in the next 4 months. This month, we're specifically focused in on the 10 pounds. I want to push it even further. I want to go into 20 pounds, and I'm going to say 20 plus pounds. It's called Energy Unleashed, and it's called Learn to Reset Your Blood Sugar. Let's learn to reset it. And in this 4-month process with Energy Unleashed, you're going to have a workbook that's going to help guide you in every way. You're going to have one-on-one email anytime that you have a question. Within 24 hours, I will, or my assistant will, answer the emails and give you information, help move you along. Also, you're going to have videos that you are going to be sent to help keep you motivated and energy moving forward. And then also, you have live coaching calls where there's Q&A. You can ask any questions that you want, because that's what it's all about. Also, with the Energy Unleashed workbook, what you're going to have in there is you're going to learn how to build your morning ritual. You're going to learn why it's important to stay connected with yourself holistically. I was never born with this stuff in the family, and we're all learning as we go along. And we see our family members get sick, and we get confused on what is happening. In this program, this 4-month program, you're going to learn so much within this book that you're going to understand deeply about what your next steps are, because it's about learning about yourself. And it's about having me as your coach. But after you get done with this program, you have the tools. Remember how we're building your tool belt, and we're making sure that we have a wellness plan. We're stepping away from the sickness plan and waiting for something to happen. If we feel holistically that our body is off energetically, and that we don't have the energy to finish our days because we're so exhausted, this workbook is going to help keep you focused. The one-on-one email system is going to help you stay focused because you can ask questions. The videos are going to be in depth, where I'm going to give you 2 minutes to 10 minutes based on where the energy is going with the group. We're going to build this plan so you know more about yourself. Live coaching calls, bi-weekly live coaching calls, are going to massively change your mindset and your learnings of who you are and the next steps you have to do, because you're going to go in deeper. Where you are today, within the next 4 months, you're going to be a different person. You got to be ready for that, because you have to start learning about how to change your mindset. And let's talk about that in just a moment. So I want you to think about this. Belly fat messes with our hormones. Belly fat throws off how good our liver is working. Our liver is our second brain, and our liver needs to be cleansed and worked with so that we're in alignment, so that our lymphatic system, our lymph nodes throughout our body, is doing what it needs to do. So then when we eat food, our body digests it so that we don't have leaky gut anymore, because quite a few of us have things that are happening, and we're not going to go into leaky gut. I did do a call on that, but there's so many things that are happening now that we're not around, and it has to do with things have just changed. Higher stress, things are moving faster. It is crazy what's happening. You're going to learn about this. I want to talk to you about Michaela's story. There's a big difference in the picture that you see her. And you know what? She's still going on her journey. So this is where she started on the right side, and she's lost massive weight. She did a little step back and has digressed, but she's going right back in again. So you see how these tools help us move forward, but we're still going to have some steps back. There is no 100%. And that's why you need a coach to get you moving forward. Now you're going to see the RhondaLiebig.com fit with a double T hyphen camp. You can go there as I'm talking. You can still learn more as I'm speaking through this, but you want to go there and check this out. So what was happening for Michaela is that she was using food as comfort. Well, I was too. Her issue was that she was having fast food every day. She drank soda every day. That's what her family does. That's all that she knows, truly. And that's how she knew how to be connected with her day, is going through, and this is how she lived through her food. She could not and did not do any physical or exercise at all. And anytime she started to, she actually was out of breath. She was in a lot of pain. And at times would even cry when she was having her workouts. She was not feeling very good about herself. So let's go into those sabotages. What were we talking about during our session? That there's so many things that we can be hurting ourselves with by what we're saying to ourselves. Did not have a good support system. So within here, you're going to find that you actually have a private group within the social media, Facebook, that you can ask questions, but also in the live calls. You're going to have other people on the calls. You're going to hear other people's stories and questions. And the community is important. You're not alone. Losing weight is very lonely because you have to go through so many processes to get your mindset so that you feel like you're going through your change. Energy Unleashed is your no-fail plan. You're going to learn to reset your blood sugar, and you're going to learn how to do it in a logical, strategic way. You're going to learn how to reset your hormones, and that's more in the chakra system. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. So you're going to have your support system with learning how to read yourself visually. So you're going to start looking at your skin, start looking at things that are important. And you're going to learn how to see things before you take a blood test, have any x-rays, or any invasive procedures. So have you ever heard anybody say, I have all these thyroid symptoms, my doctor keeps telling me that there's nothing wrong with my thyroid? Well, sometimes there is nothing wrong with your thyroid, but your thyroid is overworking because maybe you have some gut stuff going on. So when you start learning about areas that your body is struggling, this is how you declog yourself, and we need that. So you're going to learn stuff that's been around for thousands and thousands of years. You're going to learn in Module 2 how to read your organ meridians and diagnose it. So when you start noticing where your pains are or your swelling, I have a client that has swelling in her hands, has swelling in her face, and her feet. That directly goes to kidneys. And her kidneys are struggling. And so we're on a plan to eat specific foods based on her kidney plan, her kidney cleanse. So she can reset her system and her water system gets reset. So she didn't know that before. And my client, Anna, who was with me for a month to do these big strategies, she was getting up like 7 times a night to go to the bathroom because she had to pee all the time. She had kidney stones. Within the process of learning these strategies, she was sleeping through the full night within 1 month. So there's big things that can happen. Also, you're going to learn how to clear your sabotages. So as we talked about today, it's all about being able to learn things that your mind is saying to you so that you can clear it and listen. So you want to truly build your holistic mental balance. And your successful daily ritual is going to be something that you do every day. Because think about what your day, and every day you're doing something. What's that thing that you're doing that keeps you going? Now, it may be something to having sugar every day because that's what you feel like you need. But there's something every day that you're doing that's bringing you through a process. Could it be your morning plan, your evening, or even your lunch ritual, whatever it is. But we're going to teach you a good, healthy ritual that you'll start connecting with and start feeling that energy move forward, which excites you and gets you moving even faster. We're going to talk about the chakras. The chakras are going to align your hormone system so nothing is out of balance. You're going to learn how to self-evaluate yourself so that you can motivate yourself and always go back to these tools, which is so important. You're going to have a membership in the Higher Energy Unleashed Facebook group. It's a community that you need. You're going to have massive results, and right away, you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose, within 2 weeks, you can lose 12 pounds, lose 2 inches off your hips. Clearer vision because your vision is connected with your liver. Release mucus that has stopped daily drainage. So I had a client that had daily drainage, and as soon as she comes into alignment, all that clears out. And you can have increased energy. So with all these 4 different areas of soul support here of this 4-month program, I want you to think about this. Where are you today? And where do you want to move forward? And how deep do you want to get into your strategies so that you never have to Google something and question things, but you will have the tools right there personally at your side to be able to make these changes. And the strong support, everybody needs a mentor. So the strong support that you're going to get and how you get into that. If you have any questions at all, I want to make sure that you ask any questions, because I went through a lot. It could be the strategies that you have done today in learning and making the notes that you've been taking. It can be strategies in what you need to do once you leave the call. It could be directly specific to Energy Unleashed. But if you have any questions, I'd love to handle that for you. I know that a lot of questions I get is I've never really had energy as a child, and so it's just who I am, and that's just kind of how my body works. And my old client that I had, Kim, I see her now about once a year. She comes into a program about once a year, and her biggest thing is that she's always lived with low energy, and so her biggest thing was connecting with Energy Unleashed and how it was going to help her. And she realized that she actually has a lot of control over her energy, and her biggest thing was bread. Inside bread is gluten. And anytime that she gives up bread, instantly without slowly going through her process, she has anxiety because the bread is like her center, that sugar and the filling in her belly. Well, when she was younger, her body never really digested it. And since her body didn't digest it well, it was, even though she wasn't having the pains while she was eating, it was stopping her from absorbing all the wonderful nutrients while she was eating the bread. And so she bloated, and she always felt not very good about herself. She even uses the word ugly, which is a terrible, terrible thing to even hear. But she felt very, very vulnerable because even people would make fun of her because she was stuck in her own story and really feeling not good about herself. So you learn stuff like that. You learn how to see. I know one time I used to get facials once a month, and I used to get these white bumps on the side of my eye, right on the side, like on the skin there. And that's your liver meridian point. So if your liver is not breaking down the bile and the fat within your system, you're going to have this stuff, especially because I had thyroid stuff and it was very sluggish and things were just happening like this, whereas all of a sudden things were popping up. And I was asking my esthetician who takes care of facials, and I said, why am I getting these bumps? And she said, well, because you're just getting older and that's the age. And I was like, really? I said, and I started questioning stuff like this, like, well, what does that mean? I'm getting older. Like, does that mean I'm getting older and so this is just what happens? It's like, but it's deeper than that. Like, what does older mean? And what does that mean that we're expecting something to happen because I'm older? And so going through this journey, I started learning that older means that our body becomes more sensitive. And the stuff we're talking about right now, it needs to be dealt with. And if we don't deal with cleaning up our body, we're going to have our doctors and our friends saying stuff like, oh, just because you're older. Oh, you have arthritis. Oh, just because you're older. But why? So in this Energy Unleashed, you're going to learn that when you're eating certain foods that your body does not like, that your arthritis is going to be worse. That maybe you're going to clear yourself up 100% from arthritis right now, and maybe it'll come back later. But there's strategies to really start clearing things where you feel clogged. And that's what you need to get from that, that there's all this space to make changes and new things to happen. So if this is for you, I want you to go in, because March 1st, we're starting this. If you need to think about this, I want you to go and write this down in your notes. RhondaLiebig.com/fit with a double T -camp. Go to Fit Camp, get signed up, get ready for the 4-month program, and we're going to get you set up so that you can start your process right away. I'll give you a sheet that tells you what you should be doing every day just to kind of start getting your ritual going. I'll give you 4 basic steps. And so I want you to get in there if this is for you, and you're going to find a button that says, I am ready, sign me up. And so all the stuff that you learned today, we're going deeper. And we're not going to just lose 10 pounds. We're going to rid ourselves of what we mentally believe we can go. And we're going to try and expand that. Because remember, what you focus on expands. So we're going to expand that through your journey. What your focus is now, you're going to exponentially move yourself forward, and you're not even going to believe that you're the person that you started when you first started this program. So I want you in. If this is for you. Now, if you're questioning it, send me an email. If you haven't, I see that I haven't gotten anything from the chat box. So if you have not said anything in the chat box, I want to make sure that you send me an email, Rhonda@RhondaLiebig.com. And what I want you to do is ask any question that you want to ask but may be shy about. I know that the health stuff is very maybe uncomfortable, and so I want you to think about all these areas, like your 5-point weight loss prepared checklist that you learned today, your pre-weight planning formula. I want you to know how to even add that in deeper. I want you to even learn more about what's your high converting energy food so that your energy stays up. And I want you right now to believe that each step that you take, that you're never extreme, and you're going to learn how to be more gentle with yourself. And you're going to learn that there's always stuff that you're going to keep in your diet that you love. But you're going to learn how to crowd most of that stuff out just by learning the strategies and bringing yourself back into alignment so you're not craving what mine would be, the chocolate chip cookie. So what's yours? All right, I want to see you in there, active, ready to click the button and jump into this program. I'd love to see you there. You have an insightful day, and I'll catch you next Tuesday or sooner.